But for now, we're gonna have to say a little bit of a goodbye to the Terran players because we are jumping into a series without a single one of them. It's gonna be our first semifinals, our upper semifinals coming in here, and we are gonna be having it on.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
In the bottom left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our pink Protoss player coming down all the way from the land of Poland, the top seed of the Sparkling Tuna Cup, representing the Platinum Heroes. Maybe looking to potentially avenge his fallen teammate. He is ArT.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player himself going for a pool first opener, representing the Juggernauts. It is MeomaikA.
I hope we never see this map again until I decide what the intro to this should be.
I like how you load in and your brain just starts panicking and you just make noises. You're like, what do I do? Ah.
I'm like, okay, I need to try to incorporate the Asher version, which is like, we're on Data Under the Sea, but I also need to incorporate the Steel Mold version, which is on Data Sea.
Oh, that's...
Or we're on Data Sea. On Data Sea.
Aye. You could even come up with your third version if you want. Like, if you can try and figure
it out.
What
do you think I've been doing? While my brain's been panicking.
I don't know, Bobby. I just hear the Little Mermaid over and over again. Sebastian, help me.
I'm gonna play a different song from that movie.
Aye. Meanwhile, speaking of a different song, MeomaikA did go for a pull first, and unlike Color, when we see a pull first from MeomaikA, he does have a follow-up.
Oh yeah, roaches are coming out here. We don't see this too often in ZVP now, do we? Unless something has changed in the past couple of weeks where I was keeping up.
Well, we honestly don't, especially after like the Void Ray meta, because it was so common. Void Rays just shut this down completely, but here we go. Roaches are going to be coming out across the map. We're looking at the vision here of ArT. He did go for a probe scout. He did confirm the pool first, but he hasn't seen the roaches yet until now. And
potentially a little late. I mean, we are on Data C, so there's a very straightforward rush path to go here, but ArT definitely has a little bit of time to set up a couple more defenses. Shield battery is about to finish up. Fully walling off here. That is absolutely crucial against a roach rush.
And this is why I love Meo. It's been a while since we've seen this. Since we've seen a Meo who gets scouted and decides to do something different. The madman is draining.
The ultimate bamboozler, yeah! We have seen committed MeomaikA, I think, a lot more in the past couple of months, where even if his build is scouted, he still commits to it anyway, and he's had some success with that, but this is Slippin' Meo, as I like to call him. The MeomaikA who just has different, who just keeps his options open every single time,
They say the Meo who could, this is the Meo who won't.
The Meo who refuses to.
Exactly, and just like that, a second pylon was thrown down here on the low ground. We do see it cancel though, so ArT isn't completely being bamboozled. He's still keeping his Void Ray at home, which means that MeomaikA, he is free to drone to his heart's content. His third base is going to be on the way as well. ArT won't be moving out, there we go, until he has his Oracle. So it's really cool to see MeomaikA basically respecting his opponent. He knows ArT well enough now that if he had gone for that Roach Bush, it wouldn't have worked. ArT did see it.
Yeah, they've played in enough Sparkling Tuna Cups, both of them, often enough to get a little bit of a glimpse of how one another plays. I also like this from ArT as well. He, despite taking the opening seriously, made sure that he wasn't overly safe. He is still scouting as much as he can. He basically gave himself the bare minimum to defend against Roach Push.
Oh, definitely, definitely. At the same time, we do see him trying to force a cancel here on this third base. With only one queen as DPS, it looks like ArT, he could commit, but no, he switches targets to the queen.
Yeah, and I'm not sure this was the right call.
Ooh.
A second queen comes in and will just barely not kill that Void Ray, but should be able to take out the Oracle. Oh, a little bit of a pathing issue. Will kill one of the Oracles, but one queen does go down behind all of that.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough NG here for a transfuse. Otherwise, MeomaikA would have maybe been able to keep them alive. It was nice for him to get a kill on that Oracle, though, because that means that ArT doesn't have one-shot potential. This Void Ray as well, barely surviving, is very battered, very bruised, so is also vulnerable to these queens.
Yeah, and ArT is still committing. He's trying to get whatever damage he can get done. Is he going to be able to get away? One more hit! Will not land! That Void Ray on literally 1 health.
How?
Literally 1 health. Not figuratively. Will be able to make it out of there.
Shaking my head. Oh, one more hit is all he needed. And MeomaikA was even stutter stepping forward as well, but ArT barely scrapes by here with his life. But MeomaikA doing MeomaikA things is going for a Hydra timing attack here. Hydra then is in the main base, quickly checking the vision of ArT. ArT did not go in far enough to see this.
Yeah, and it kind of shows when it comes to his tech. He's researching Blink, and he does not have charge at the moment. Working on Immortals, and only now has thrown down the Robo-May.
Yeah, the Hydra was revealed here attacking that Oracle, so now he's trying to get ready here for that splash damage for those Hydras. Back at home, he has a couple of sentries for force fields. This third base can be very defensible. There is a very narrow choke. It doesn't take too many force fields to really wall this off, and when it comes to a Hydra push, usually they lack Ravagers, so they can have a hard time breaking through force fields.
Yeah, force fields plus purification ovas plus stasis wards. I see it so clearly, Light. I see the meat grinder in my head, but it's actually a lot trickier to pull off than it's a lot easier said than done, so.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And what's interesting is that MeomaikA is also getting Roach speed, so he's going for Roach Hydra. He isn't making non-stop Hydras, which means that these Roaches can be morphed into Ravagers, which means he will have an answer, or he can have an answer to those force fields.
Yeah, once again, MeomaikA, like you said, doing MeomaikA things. He knew the Hydras were scouted. He doesn't commit to the push.
Yeah.
He gets to the next stage of tech.
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, he got scattered, so he takes a 4th base. He drones up even further. MeomaikA, his drone count isn't amazing, but it's not bad either. This will give ArT more time though to get out a better army, and now that disruptor count, it's gonna get pretty high, especially with a second robot.
Yeah, this is honestly starting to get a little terrifying right now.
Yeah, Mio is gonna see all.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, you know, if you're MeomaikA looking at all of this, looking at all the tech and the expansion of ArT, you're gonna be thinking, I need to either slow this down or be even greedier.
Yeah, and it looks like he wants to go for a big push. Meanwhile, oh, the Void Ray is finally going to get sniped by that Queen. It was stuck on hold position here in between the bases. We do see a Sky Toss transition coming out from ArT. You could argue this is being a little bit greedy, especially because MeomaikA is about to max out. May not have the greatest army, but what he lacks in quality, he makes up for in quantity.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like this may be best case scenario for MeomaikA. ArT is playing a little bit greedier. He is neglecting his army a lot right now, and you know, even when he does get those Stargates up and running, it's gonna take a long while for him to set up his army.
Yeah, exactly. MeomaikA, he's ready to go. He's going to clean up these rocks and push out across the map and hit this 4th base. A lot of this is still going to come down to the force fields and these purification novas. We already have three disruptors ready for this. The army does get scattered by the observer. Only a couple of Hydras though, so maybe ArT, again, he doesn't have alarm bells flaring, but okay, he warps in defensively.
Yeah, he is still taking this seriously. He knows that a transition is going to take way too long. He's just producing whatever he can while he can.
Yeah, and I think Mio is missing his opportunity here because, sure, even now he may not be able to break this position, especially on Data C, but we need to refine the army. We have a lot of Roaches, and as the game goes on, mate, these Roaches, they don't shoot up. They're not that useful.
They really do not, and even Corrosive Biles can be very, I almost said irresponsible. Unreliable, that's That's the word. Look, they mean the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I appreciate that he's going for a hive. I would love vipers. Vipers would really help MeomaikA out right now, but he doesn't have the supply to make vipers. Like he needs to trade soon.
Yeah, arguably now. Well, he actually, can get more value out of a trade.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a little bit concerned. We do have a War Prism sneaking into the main base, just as MeomaikA's only moving out with his Hydra, so he does have Ling Roach to respond to this, as the Zealots do get dropped into the main.
Yeah, no anti-air here though. This War Prism is completely unthreatened.
Exactly.
A couple more before dipping out.
Yeah, we have more Zealots here at the 3rd and 4th base as well. Just doing what they can. Looks like they can maybe even get a queen. So ArT is actually getting value here. And again, MeomaikA just hasn't really done much with this Roach army. The longer this goes on, the better it is here for ArT. ArT, likewise, is also refining his army. He himself is closing that supply gap.
Yeah. And of course, since a lot of MeomaikA's supply is in Roaches and Ravagers, you could argue that he already has closed it. I'm sorry, no, just Roaches. No Ravagers.
Yeah, 0 Ravagers, he's just Roaches. We were theorizing about a Ravager push earlier, but that time has come and gone. We have DTs harassing the southern base as well. Vipers, Hydra's trying to push through whenever they can, and we do have double Spire on the way, so it looks like MeomaikA is aware of the Skytross transition, but we'll see.
Can he cancel?
Oh my god. Doesn't cancel in the end.
Just a little too late. Well worth it coming out here from ArT. MeomaikA, understandably playing a little bit scared, but like you said, he should really be trading a lot more. And trading army, not drones. 17%.
Yeah. Exactly, as we have a little bit more Zealot harass here in the main base. There's a War Prism in between the bases as well. So MeomaikA, he is freeing up supply by losing workers, I guess, question mark, but he's being pulled apart.
He's got a bank. He doesn't need to mine that much, right?
Does have a pretty big bank, not wrong.
But now ArT is starting to flip the dynamic. He is pushing out across the map. He is multi-pronging. And like you said, this is doing a really good job of just splitting the army of MeomaikA. I was going to say in half, but not even in half. It's even smaller than that.
Oh, exactly. Meanwhile, here we go. We're looking for a mass around right now. The Novas are going to be going off, and they miss.
Yeah, funnily enough, I think the force fields helped out MeomaikA a bit more there.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta push the Roaches away from Purification Novas.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we have a Muta switch coming in here from MeomaikA, and the Mutas alongside these Hydras actually kill every single Interceptor.
You know what? I was really doubting it, Light. I thought that the quantity of MeomaikA's army wasn't enough to make up for the quality of ArT's, but maybe it has.
Maybe. The scary thing, though, is that he didn't kill any carriers. He killed all the Interceptors, and that was great for that moment, but he barely didn't have enough momentum. We do see a couple of reinforcements. We do see MeomaikA trying to dive back on in. He's focusing down as many of these Interceptors as possible, and if he gets them all, then his Mutas will clean this up. He's doing it!
Yeah, he's really looking to make the carriers dead supply, and he has done it. He has spent his entire gas bank, but he still has plenty of minerals, and at this point, Mutas and Lings are really the go-to for MeomaikA.
Exactly. Meanwhile, DT harassed. There's no detection here. We need some Overseers. They're on the way. Spores are on the way as well. So MeomaikA, he cannot counterattack immediately. And now we see a transition. Phoenixes are coming out instead of carriers.
Yeah, that was, I think, MeomaikA's one window of opportunity to completely go for a counterattack, but now that window has closed. Well, maybe not closed, but...
Yeah, he is going to be able to deny the 4th base, so he does keep ArT on these 3 bases. Meanwhile, Archons and Phoenixes are coming out, both hard counters to Mutas. So ArT, respecting this army, is kind of refining it a little bit better here. MeomaikA may have to try to go for another switch. I don't know if Ling Muta can really do that again.
Well, I don't know if he can afford another switch, though, not when he has barely any gas income.
Yeah, he spent his entire gas bank making nothing but Mutas. To be fair, with this army, MeomaikA doesn't have to engage with that main army. We do see him, trying to dance here with the Phoenixes, but they do have Anion Pulse Crystals. They do have Phoenix range.
Yeah, a couple of Hydras on the ground would definitely shut this down. But again, MeomaikA, 1, can't afford Hydras. 2, still has to worry about Zealots and Archons regardless.
Here really does. And now ArT is coming in for the second push, this time fully aware of that muta switch. Hydras are coming out to help defend as well, but like this army, like, yeah, how do you deal with this?
Infestors? I don't know. Not with what MeomaikA has right now. We see all of the links starting to evaporate in that choke point, unable to get that full surround, and the Sky Army not too far behind. GG, ArT takes game number 1.
GG, well played. And that's kind of what I was getting at, you know, like how do you deal with Archon Phoenix? Not with mutas and not with lings.
Yeah.
But that was like a really cool moment there when he rocked up for the first time with those mutas. MeomaikA was actually winning that fight.
He definitely was. I feel like this was a game where ArT really showed that he knows how to slow down his opponent's momentum, because even though, like you said, MeomaikA was winning that fight, he was honestly kind of dominating that fight with a couple of DTs, with a couple of Zealots to sort of split the attention of MeomaikA. In those key couple of moments, ArT had more than enough time and more than enough resources to rebuild a counter arm, to rebuild an answer to that.
Exactly. It was specifically those DTs, right? Because we saw that after that fight, MeomaikA turned around and he was stuck at home waiting for detection, trying to stop all this harassment that was going on. If it wasn't for that, he would have been able to counterattack and maybe dealt some economic damage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could see that he was gearing up to go for that counterattack until he turned his entire army around. And because he didn't have any detection, he was sitting around waiting for Overseers as well. Yeah, very, very great decisions coming out from ArT.
Definitely. And with that, we are now going into game number 2. Again, though, there's still a chance here for an ace match, for this to go all the way to game 3.
Indeed, there is, as we continue our series now on Tropical Sacrifice. We're here in the bottom left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the pink Protoss player coming down from the land of Poland. He is, of course, going to be representing Platinum Heroes. We have ArT.
And spawning in, oh my god, the top right-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice ESL, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player himself going for a 12-pool opener. It is MeomaikA.
I just looked over at the predictions here, Lloyd. We have an even 50-50 split.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. You know, MeomaikA's he's worked some magic in the past, especially in this matchup. We'll see if he can get away with it though, because ArT is going for a probe scout, so he is going to confirm the 12 pool.
Yeah, playing this out very, very safe. And my eyes are entirely on MeomaikA from here. You know, how does he respond to being scouted? Because you know he will.
Oh, and I love this response as well. ArT, he throws down a forge. He's going to go for a full wall off, and he can even throw down cannons behind this as well, if this is a committed all-in from MeomaikA.
It's a very big if, though, but yeah, just keeping his options open and making sure that he can be as safe as possible, if necessary.
Exactly. What's important is that there are only 6 lings, so this is a relatively like low commitment 12 pool from MeomaikA. Usually we see at least 10, but with 6, that means he just goes in, he forces a response, he's gonna poke and prod, and he's droning up behind this.
Yeah, lings go in, lings go out. Can't explain that.
Oh, exactly. We do see a little bit of a dance here. If there's any moments where the Zealot overextends, we are going to see a full surround here from MeomaikA. He's chipping away, and yo, that forge is getting pretty low.
Did he just cancel the second Zealot?
Oh, he did. He waited for that Adept instead. We do have a kill on that forge just before the cannon finishes.
And it's definitely something here for MeomaikA, but I'm sure he was planning to get a whole lot more done with his initial 12 pool.
Yeah, he goes back home. He has to make sure he has enough to defend against the Zealot, because the Zealot is already on the way across the map. We even saw a cancel of the Adept, so ArT wants to be a little bit safer. He wants to try and keep MeomaikA in the dark, as he actually goes for a Stargate follow-up.
Gonna be thrown down from here. Once again, I doubt ArT will go for another Void Ray opening, just because he knows he doesn't have to play super safe this time. We'll see how many Oracles he decides to get.
Oh my god, and MeomaikA's hurting right now. He just lost his Overlord across the map. He just got his third base denied as well. Massive supply block. He has 2 Overlords on the way to try and break out of that. Like, yeah, he really wasn't anticipating a Stalker of all things to come out of this gateway. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a bumpy road here to recovery, but thankfully, like, his drone count is looking relatively healthy.
Yeah, he's keeping up with ArT for the moment. Even gonna be able to get his third hatch in about a standard-ish time. It's a little bit late. But not that much.
Yeah, a little bit late in the end. What I'm worried about is, hopefully MeomaikA is able to keep the space alive. Thankfully for MeomaikA, ArT isn't going for that Void Ray first, so these Oracles won't be able to just shell away and force a cancel or even a kill at the third.
But it's gonna try.
Yeah?
A little Oracle that could.
Oracle is zooming across the map, confirming the third base location, and is going to try and get some damage done here. Spores on the way, but it's not done.
And 1, 2, 3, 4 drones will go down. You like how high I can count?
That's impressive.
Yeah. Don't ask me to go higher than that.
I won't, don't worry, it's all good. But 4 drones and the Oracle survive, so now we have the one-shot potential with double Oracle, so ArT is doing a great job at, again, just keeping the economy of MeomaikA in check. What's interesting is that behind this, he's going straight for a Robo, not a Twilight Council.
Yes. Yeah, normally when I see a Robo facility early on like this, I imagine Protoss players looking to play it a little bit safer, try to get a Robo Bay quickly and get a couple of disruptors for safety, but I'm not really sure in this scenario. I think ArT recognizes that he does have the map control, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he's chilling. He's pretty big chilling right now. And I assume that this is just maybe for Oracles, sorry, I say Oracles, I meant Observers, just to gain map control or gain map vision, but no, he's being this a little bit safer. He's just making Immortals early on to make sure he has units to defend. Ooh, overextends a little bit, we'll lose an Oracle.
Yeah, and take some significant hull damage in another one. It's gonna be tricky maneuvering that Oracle to kill drones now.
Oh, and drones are not what's on MeomaikA's mind. He's making nothing but Hydras behind this. He makes a mass swell of links. He wants to try and force a kill or a cancel at this third base, but with force fields, it looks like ArT should be able to hold on.
Yeah, MeomaikA is well aware of that. He doesn't want to go for a full round unless he gets not locked out. He's starting to get some structural damage, though.
Yeah, but with this force field, it looks like the shield battery is going to be able to survive. The Lings did get 2 Zealots and a Pylon for their troubles, but that was a lot of Lings.
It really was. Even for Ling standards.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, MeomaikA is not stopping. By the way, he's rallying everything across the map. He has his Hydras, he has his Lings. Looking at the upgrades, he is only going to be working with Hydra speed, not Hydra range. But again, losing all those Lings earlier means that he's going to have a hard time against this army.
Oh, or will he? Hydras are started stepping forward a little bit. Is able to take out the Immortal. Will they get more?
We shall see. Forces to cancel there, a kill on one of those shield batteries, but 3 more finished up. We have an overcharge. Another Immortal is exposed.
Yeah, like you said, that was the overcharge, that was the Guardian Shell. Everything was keeping that Immortal alive.
Yeah, but the Hydras, they're not stopping again. MeomaikA is 100% all in with this, and he's breaking through. He's actually getting kills on a lot of these gateway units, and the Immortal, again, just isn't really in the best position.
Yeah, it keeps getting caught in the middle of the bases instead of, back at one of the bases on top of a strategic location or a choke point.
Yeah, it just doesn't really have a lot of support. We see the full surround. The Immortal goes down. GG gets called, and MeomaikA is going to take game number 2.
Bring us to the ace match.
Exactly. ArT being punished for delaying his gateways. He couldn't really reinforce, he couldn't really warp in too many gateway units at a time just because he was taking up so greedily after he defended against the 12 pool, and because of that he just didn't have a lot of units.
Yeah. Yeah, once again, ArT playing this out a little bit greedy. But this time, he wasn't able to get away with it. MeomaikA was much more adept at punishing it, kind of nipping it in the bud before we got to the late game, and it really became a problem for him.
Yeah, I was really impressed because I thought that Mio losing so many lings early on was gonna hinder him, especially because like he didn't really get too much damage done. He didn't even get the shield battery. But I guess, you know, killing the pylons may have been good enough just because it limited how many shield batteries there would be, and maybe it kind of lured ArT into a false sense of security, being like, oh, you know, I'm gonna be fine, I'm gonna be safe, I've got immortals on the way. Like I just killed so many lings anyway. Don't worry about it. When MeomaikA just doubled down.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you want to get away with having immortals in a PvZ, you need to make sure you can juggle like a class. Really well. You can juggle really well with Warp Prism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that you can. I'm just looking at the replay here, and we can see that 3 gateways were on the way as the game was ending. Like, he needed that production desperately. He was really struggling to spend his money, and yeah, because that we are going to the ace match. It looks like MeomaikA is asking for a little bit of time here to prepare himself. So again, we're more than willing to wait. It feels like the tournament has been, you know, running pretty quickly, all things considered.
Yeah.
So we can chill. We can chill.
Yeah, Moss is our first semifinal.
Yeah. It's been pretty quick. It's been pretty quick. But go on.
Yeah. Speaking of semifinals, though, after this map, we actually have our other semifinals waiting for us in the lower half of the bracket.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Tiger. I'm gonna have to look into him later, but he doesn't even have a Liquipedia page.
Yeah.
He didn't have an easy road to the semis. Like, he has been stumbling a little bit, but I'm really curious to maybe like peek into his challenge page or something to figure out like how active he has been as a player. Like, I don't know him.
Yeah, like what's his situation, you know? Coming in here. But regardless, we are going to be continuing and concluding our best of 3 semifinals here on Inside and also Out. Oh wait, there's also in that. In the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we of course have our pink Protoss player coming out from the land of Borlad. He is of course the #1 seed. In the Sparkling Tuna Cup, he is going to be representing Platinum Heroes. He is ArT.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Inside and Out ESL, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player himself representing the Juggernauts. It is MeomaikA. Oh my god.
Going for the hatch block.
Yeah, MeomaikA, he went the long way around Inside and Out, making sure to avoid this probe. He throws down his hatchery at home. This looks like a pool first hatchery, by the way. It looks a little bit sus. He's gonna try and check behind the base as MeomaikA dips in, but he's too late.
Oh, dude, feels bad, man. If you're Meo.
Yeah, he had 300 minerals banked up, and he's forced to throw down a gas and a spawning pool instead.
So at this point, MeomaikA has, I don't want to say shot himself in the foot, but he has a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, just a little bit inefficient. We can see it here in the minerals a little bit. Like, his spawning pool isn't at the best time to be able to spend that money. Yeah. Obviously, he can transition from here, but a good opener from ArT.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, by default, a good opener from ArT, and even better opener for ArT in this sort of scenario as well. I
said opener. I guess I meant to say start. Good start of the game here. It's like he's ahead. All things considered. Meanwhile, we just see our queens away here for Meo, and oh boy, we'll see where things kind of go from here. I think what's interesting is that Meo has gone for different openers every game so far. Bit of a shame that the hatchbook didn't work out for him here, but regardless, like it's been cool to see him kind of diversify.
Yeah. Now hear me out, Light. Would it have been worth it for him to just proxy in the third at that point?
No.
Just spit out your drink.
No. Aye. If you had an earlier spawning pool, then maybe we can see like a hatchery in the wall instead.
Yeah.
But you have to go into the game with that in mind to begin with, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, now ArT is kind of doubling down a lot on his harass. This is another gateway opening, or Stargate opening, sorry, I should say, coming out from him. But because the start didn't work out well at all for MeomaikA, I do appreciate that he's taking this a lot more seriously. He is building his force early this time.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm really scared for Mio because ArT is gonna be hyper aggressive. He delayed his Stargate to go for 2 more gateways here instead, which means ArT is gonna have a lot more production available for a ground-focused army, which means that vanilla adepts with oracles are gonna be coming across the map, and I hope MeomaikA is gonna be ready for this. Looking at his vision right now, he doesn't even have an overlord to scout, so MeomaikA is gonna be in the dark. Oh boy.
Yeah, completely. That's a lot of adepts being thrown down. And an oracle about to meet them to support.
Yeah, like, these may be glaive-less adepts, but they can still deal an insane amount of damage anyway. Do not underestimate them. Meanwhile, Slowlings actually catch these adepts. Okay, MeomaikA now knows he needs to make an army. He needs to prepare himself for these adepts.
Yeah, a lot of Lings are being thrown down, and again, like you said, while glaiveless adepts are so scary, you can afford to pounce on them with Lings compared to glaved adepts.
Oh, exactly. And here we go, 10 more Lings in production. It looks like MeomaikA is going to be able to clean these up without taking too many losses. We see, though, that ArT is able to shade out, and he's reinforcing with even more adepts. Oh.
Yeah, but at the same time, not that many drones have gone down. Unless we got game heart. Yeah, not that many drones have gone down. Only one of them so far. Morlings on the way, and ArT getting a little bit stifled here.
Oh yeah, a really great defense from MeomaikA so far. He's still behind when it comes to the drone count, but at least, you know, it could be worse, right? He could be losing even more workers as we speak. Meanwhile, oh, I didn't realize how late Link speed is. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it was intentionally late as well. MeomaikA is cutting a lot of corners in order to be able to finish up that Hydra den, and also at the same time have enough resources to build Hydras.
Yeah.
Or produce Hydras once the time comes.
We didn't get to point it out when it happened, but I'm pretty sure MeomaikA went for a lair before speed, which is crazy.
He did. Yeah.
Oh my god, the oracles, they scout the lair. By the way, they scout the speed is still on the way, which is unusual. Oh, it looks like he's going to be able to get a kill on this queen. Ooh.
But in response, the Hydras will be able to get a kill on the Oracle. That does give ArT a lot of scouting information, though.
Yeah, hopefully ArT realizes what he saw, because looking at his vision, he did see the Hydra den as it was being built. MeomaikA, once again, is done droning. He's going for another Hydra Ling all-in.
Yeah, and honestly, this kind of feels like a Hail Mary coming up from MeomaikA, but we'll see. It's a Hail Mary, but it's a Hail Mary that can work.
Yeah, it definitely can work. We do see a decent round here on a lot of this army. Station Draft's going to be thrown down, but it gets cancelled. It gets denied.
Real crucial target firing coming up from MeomaikA. He takes out the sentries as well, and look at an army supply plummet for ArT.
Oh, the wall is not a wall. Not in time. The Hydras, they slip on in as well. There's barely anything to defend. The shield batteries, they're not ready.
Dude, and they're being targeted down. The Lings are actually doing quite a bit of damage. The probe control has been pretty good from ArT, however. And is MeomaikA gonna do it like the zero army supply for ArT?
Mate, there's zero army supply. We do see a couple more units are being warped in. We have a Dark Shrine behind this, but mate, I think it's a little bit too late for that. GG, MeomaikA takes the series.
Dude. MeomaikA takes that series 3-1 and will advance to the grand finals here to face a player who hasn't been determined yet. We will be determining that in the other semifinals, but man, oh man, like, I really didn't think MeomaikA was going to make it because of, one, because of how, bad that start was in that ace match was for him. He was behind perpetually there. But also because my heart both sank and rose the minute I saw the Lynx block that gateway. Because I just knew that if the probe from ArT was just a second quicker, he would have been able to defend there. He would have been fine. But that just wasn't how it happened.
Yeah, like GG. I don't think ArT really recognized how low economy MeomaikA was. And on top of that, it's a bit of a shame, but like there were shield batteries and even I think a cannon or something at the third base, but that's not what MeomaikA pushed.
Yep.
You know, there was nothing ready at the natural. There were 0 shield batteries whatsoever. Like ArT was just not ready for that angle of attack at all. On top of that, the surround outside the natural was insane. Despite the force fields, despite those sentries, those adepts got cleaned up, and ArT just didn't have anything remaining after that. Like, wow. GG.
Gee. Yeah, that's another thing that I guess I didn't really realize until you brought it up. The target firing from MeomaikA to take out the Oracle as a stasis ward was being produced. The high energy sentry that honestly still had 1 or 2 more force fields. You know, if he couldn't throw down the gateway, then at least he could have thrown down a force field. But because it was taken out, yeah, that was. It felt like everything just fell into place for MeomaikA from a hopeless position.
Yeah, MeomaikA, he just has a way with Hydra all-ins, like Ling Hydra specifically. Like, he just has different timings, different ways of executing them, and he can really make some magic happen with them. It's always really inspiring to see. Not the most macro-oriented player. We saw that in the longer game is where ArT excelled, but MeomaikA, these like weird wonky timings, like that's where he thrives in.
Yeah, without a doubt. And if that GG, I'm not used to this light. For the second week in a row, we have a Zerg player in the grand finals of Sparkling Tuna Cup.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often, but it's great to see it 2 weeks in a row. Last week it was Demi, of course. This week, MeomaikA.
Yeah, not just a Zerg player. A player from the Zerg Muta Triangle making it to the grand finals.
Yeah. Mate, I think what I love about this is that, again, that was the whole point of this tournament series, is that players from our region, from Oceania, from Southeast Asia, they can go toe-to-toe with the players from other regions, with your Koreans, with your Europeans. We see that here, MeomaikA taking down a player like ArT. We saw it last week, Demi going to the ace match against Nightmare. Like, they are able to compete with the players at, arguably the highest level of play.
Yeah. They just didn't believe.
Exactly, your Funada, Demi, and MeomaikA. When we first started our tournament series, by the way, I'm gonna expose them right now.
That's what I was alluding to. I wasn't sure if I should expose them.
They were both complaining. They were both like, "Oh, you opened it up to Koreans? Come on, man, and Europeans? Come on, man! Like, we're not gonna make any money." Because for those who are watching us this year and aren't aware, because we've been casting for 3+ years now, we used to run a tournament called Grand Platypus Open, which is where our platypus comes from, and it was region locked to Oceania and Southeast Asia. Yeah, and MeomaikA and Demi, they would win these week after week after week after week. Made a decent amount of money doing so. But then this year, we ended that series and we started a more open weekly instead, Sparkling Tuna Cup, and it meant that MeomaikA and Demi had to work that much harder for their championships, but they're doing it.
Yeah. It's like we gave them what we told was a magic soup, but it was just hot water.
But it made them stronger. It made them stronger, Papi. Oh my god. So yeah, just really cool to see. GG, well played. MeomaikA, he advances on to the grand finals. And now we are getting ready for our lower semifinals.
Yeah, it is going to be a TVP, I believe, coming down here. And that's another thing. Would confirm not to have a mirror matchup. Going into our grand finals.
True. You are not wrong. And I'm gathering a little bit of information here. It looks like Tiger, one of our semifinalists, is on Team Hasu, which we are pretty familiar with.
Oh, Hasu, yeah, not Hasu Obs. Wait, no, yes, Hasu Obs. Yeah. Wait, no, not Hasu Obs. Wait,
Not the player Hustle Orbs, but Hustle the team. We used to play them back in ATL.
Not named after the player.
Not named after the player, no.